Win the morning, win the day. The way you begin your day is the way you begin your destiny. Every morning, before the world places its demands on you, before the noise of notifications, opinions, and obligations drowns out your inner voice, you hold in your hands the power to decide who you will be. The morning is not just the start of another 24 hours. It is the battlefield of your mind. It is the proving ground of your discipline. It is the birthplace of greatness or the tomb of wasted potential. History has proven this truth over and over. Thomas Edison, long before he became a name synonymous with light, trained himself to rise before the world stirred, sketching his ideas while others were still asleep. Henry Ford, a man with no formal education beyond high school, rose each morning with a clear vision of building an automobile for the masses, not the few. He knew if he controlled his morning, he could control the course of his destiny. The morning is sacred, yet most people treat it like an accident. They stumble out of bed with no intention, no purpose, no command over themselves. They grab their phone, absorb the world's chaos before they have built their own order, and then wonder why the day defeats them. But the winners, the leaders, the visionaries, the ones who bend the world, understand this. To win the morning is to win the day. And to win the day is to win your life. If you rise with discipline, you carry the fragrance of victory into every hour that follows. If you rise with vision, you infect every task with purpose. If you rise with gratitude, you see abundance where others see lack. And if you rise with power, nothing in the day can shake you, because you have already declared who you are before the day even began. Understand this: your morning is not just about habits. It is not simply about a checklist of meditation, exercise, journaling, or reading. Those are tools, yes, but beneath them lies something deeper: the declaration of your identity. When you wake up early, when you command yourself to rise while others sleep, you are telling your subconscious, I am not like the rest. I am the architect of my fate. I am not a slave to comfort. I am a master of destiny. Think of a soldier. Before he goes to war, he sharpens his weapon. He inspects his armor. He steadies his mind. He does not rush into battle unprepared, for he knows that his preparation determines his survival. That is what your morning must be: the sharpening of your weapon, the aligning of your spirit, the preparation for the war of the day. Most people are defeated before they ever leave their homes. They carry yesterday's failures into today's hours. They replay mistakes. They drown in regret. They allow their past to poison their present. But you must rise differently. You must rise with the understanding that every morning is a rebirth. Every sunrise is life's reminder that you are being given another chance. The question is, what will you do with it? When Benjamin Franklin was asked the secret of his productivity and wisdom, he spoke of one question. He asked himself every morning, what good shall I do this day? Not what will I consume, what will I get, what will I take, but what good shall I do? That simple question framed his day, and it built a life that outlived him. Do not underestimate the power of these hours. The morning belongs to the disciplined. The morning belongs to the dreamers who act. The morning belongs to those who dare to command their own minds before the world commands them. You must decide Will you give these hours to distraction, or will you claim them for destiny? The greatest battles you will ever fight are not with the market or with competition or even with circumstances. They are with yourself, your doubt, your fear, your laziness, your comfort. And the battlefield is not out there in the world. It is right here in the quiet hours of the morning when you choose whether to rise with power or sink back into weakness. To win the morning is to rise above the chains of mediocrity. It is to declare that your vision is greater than your excuses. It is to claim authority over yourself, which is the first and greatest victory a human being can ever achieve. So when you wake tomorrow, do not wake casually. Wake with fire. Wake with intention. Wake as if the entire weight of your destiny depends on this hour. Because it does. The mind you bring into the morning is the mind that shapes your reality. And here is the truth. Your outer world is nothing more than the mirror of your inner world. If you rise scattered, you will live scattered. If you rise defeated, you will live defeated. But if you rise clear, confident, and focused, the world cannot help but bend to the strength of your conviction. Napoleon Hill, after interviewing the greatest men of his time, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and dozens more, came to one undeniable conclusion: success begins in the mind, not in circumstances, not in luck, not in talent, in the mind. It is belief, burning with purpose, translated into disciplined action, that separates the victors from the victims. Consider Edison. Thousands of failed experiments, thousands of mornings waking up to another failure, another disappointment, another reason to quit. But he refused. He told himself, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That mindset, carried into each day, was the furnace of his invention. He understood what most never grasp. The morning is not about what the world gives you, but about what you bring to the world. Look around. Most people wake up already defeated. They open their eyes with dread, already thinking about bills, about obligations, about burdens. They treat the morning as punishment, not as opportunity. And so life becomes a cycle of survival, not creation. But those who win the morning know this: you cannot afford to enter the day as a victim. You must enter as a creation begins with clarity. What do you want? What vision burns in your chest so strongly that it keeps you awake at night? The mind without vision is like a ship without a compass. It drifts, it wanders, it is controlled by the winds of circumstance. But the mind with vision, clear and definite, can cut through any storm. Carnegie, who rose from a poor Scottish immigrant to the wealthiest industrialist of his age, said it clearly. The man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he is justly entitled. He began every day not with fear, but with vision. He refused to be guided by chance. He chose to be guided by intention. You must do the same. When you wake, do not let your first thought be random. Plant it deliberately. Set it like a cornerstone. Tell your mind, this is who I am. This is where I am going. This is what I will create today. For the mind, like a garden, grows whatever you plant. If you do not plant with intention, weeds will take root by default. And here is the danger. Weeds grow faster than crops. Negativity, doubt, fear, they do not need cultivation. They appear the moment you let down your guard. But belief, discipline, clarity, these require planting, watering, guarding. That is why your morning is sacred. It is the time to sow the seeds of the day. Some will say, "But I don't have time." They lie to themselves. Every human being is given the same 24 hours. Edison had 24 hours. Franklin had 24 hours. Lincoln, who rose from a log cabin to the White House, had 24 hours. What matters is not the time you have, but how you command it. Even 10 deliberate minutes in the morning, 10 minutes of gratitude, 10 minutes of vision, 10 minutes of discipline can tilt the scale of the entire day. Discipline is not a punishment. Discipline is freedom. It is the refusal to allow your weaker self to govern your stronger self. When you rise and choose discipline over comfort, you declare war on mediocrity. You reject the seduction of the pillow, the chains of laziness, the whispers of excuses. You rise as a commander, not a slave. Understand this. Every morning, you face a choice. Do you surrender to comfort, or do you embrace your calling? Do you let the bed win, or do you win? These small decisions are not small at all. They are the bricks of your destiny. Every time you choose discipline, you are laying another brick in the mansion of your future. When Walt Disney faced bankruptcy, ridicule, and rejection, he could have surrendered to despair. Instead, each morning, he rose with a vision so clear, so alive within him, that even failure could not extinguish it. He once said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." Courage begins in the morning. The courage to rise, to pursue, to believe when no one else does. So let me ask you, how will you rise tomorrow? Will you rise with the same tired excuses, or will you rise with fire? Will you roll out of bed to escape sleep, or will you leap out of bed to chase destiny? Because the truth is unshakable. If you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win the day, you win your life. Your vision is the compass, but purpose is the fuel. Without purpose, even the clearest vision becomes hollow. Without purpose, the morning becomes mechanical, a checklist with no fire. Purpose is what breathes life into discipline, what transforms habits into destiny. Think of Lincoln, born into poverty, losing his mother as a boy, enduring failure after failure in business and politics. He could have surrendered. He could have said, "This is not for me." But his purpose burned brighter than his pain. Every morning, he rose with the belief that his life was not his own. It was tied to a mission greater than himself. That sense of purpose carried him through depression, through ridicule, through unbearable loss, until he stood in the highest office of the land and declared freedom for millions. Purpose is not found by accident. Purpose is chosen. It is built in the quiet moments when you ask yourself the hardest questions. What am I here for? What contribution must I make before my time is done? What gift within me must be unleashed for the benefit of the world? These questions, asked in the silence of the morning, carve the foundation of an extraordinary life. But here lies the danger. Most people avoid these questions. They drown them out with distraction. They wake, scroll, consume, and escape because deep down they are afraid of the answers. Purpose requires responsibility. and responsibility terrifies the average person. But you are not average. You would not be here if you were. You are seeking something greater. And that greatness begins when you dare to confront your purpose head on. Ask yourself, when your feet hit the floor each morning, what force is driving you? Is it survival or is it destiny? Are you waking to pay bills or are you waking to build an empire? Are you waking to endure another day or are you waking to create a life that sets your soul on fire? Carnegie understood this. His purpose was not merely wealth, it was creation. He built an empire of steel, but when he reached the peak of his power, he gave away the vast majority of his fortune to build libraries, schools, and institutions of learning. Why? Because purpose outlives profit. Purpose leaves a legacy. Purpose makes the morning sacred because you rise not for yourself alone. You rise for generations yet unborn. When your purpose is clear, discipline is no longer a burden. It becomes a privilege. Waking early is no longer a struggle. It is a declaration. Exercise, study, meditation, prayer, journaling, these are not chores. They are sacred rituals that align you with your mission. You are no longer dragging yourself out of bed. You are being pulled forward by the magnetic force of destiny. But hear me clearly. Purpose without action is delusion. Too many people sit with dreams in their heads and fire in their hearts, yet never take the first step. They romanticize the vision, but reject the discipline. They think success is built in moments of inspiration, but the truth is brutal. Success is built in the trenches of daily action. Henry Ford did not change the world by imagining a car. He changed the world by relentlessly acting on his vision, designing, testing, failing, refining, day after day, year after year, until the automobile became reality. His mornings were not consumed with fantasy. They were consumed with work. Purpose without work is a wish, and wishes do not build empires. So, each morning, after you have set your vision and aligned with your purpose, you must act. Small actions, repeated with discipline, create unstoppable momentum. Read the pages, write the words, make the call, train the body, save the dollar, build the skill. Do not despise small beginnings, for every empire was once a single brick, and every fortune was once a single decision. Adaptability is also born. In the morning, life will not bend itself to your plan. Obstacles will arise. Circumstances will shift. Failures will sting. But the person who wins the morning is unshakable because they have already declared their purpose before the storm arrived. They do not crumble when tested because their foundation is already strong. They do not waste time doubting because their vision is already clear. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. Imagine that. The man who created worlds of imagination dismissed as unworthy. Most would have surrendered. But Disney, fueled by vision, rose again and again, even through bankruptcy, even through betrayal. He adapted, he endured, he pressed forward with relentless faith in his dream. And the worlds he created now outlive him by generations. Your purpose must be just as strong. It must outlive rejection. It must endure failure. It must rise again every morning, no matter what yesterday brought. Because the truth is this: your mornings are the training ground of resilience. Every day you rise with intention, you are rehearsing for greatness. Every day you rise with purpose, you are building the unshakable spirit that can withstand anything. So tomorrow, when the alarm rings and the choice is before you, sleep or rise, comfort or calling, weakness or discipline, remember this: you are not rising for the morning alone. You are rising for your vision. You are rising for your purpose. You are rising for the destiny that only you can fulfill. Win the morning, win the day. Win the day, win your life. Resilience is not built when life is easy. Resilience is forged in the fire. It is sculpted in mornings when your body aches, when your mind screams for comfort, when the weight of yesterday presses on your chest and whispers, "Stay down," but you rise anyway. That is resilience. The strongest oak tree did not grow in calm sunshine. It grew because it withstood storms, because its roots dug deep into the earth as winds tried to rip it apart. Likewise, the strongest people are not those who avoided struggle, but those who faced it every single morning and said, "You will not break me." Gratitude is the secret weapon of resilience. When you rise and choose to see what you already have, the breath in your lungs, the opportunities before you, the strength within you, you become untouchable. The man who is grateful cannot be broken by loss, because he sees abundance even in scarcity. The woman who is grateful cannot be poisoned by envy, because she already knows her cup is overflowing. Abraham Lincoln, in his darkest hour, buried 3 of his children before they reached adulthood. He walked through the valley of grief deeper than most could bear, and yet each morning he rose with gratitude for the work still before him, the mission still alive within him. Gratitude did not erase his pain, but it gave him strength to endure it. It gave him the resilience to lead a divided nation through its bloodiest trial. Gratitude is not passive, it is power. When you wake and give thanks for your life, your opportunities, even your challenges, you are rewiring your mind to see possibility where others see problems. You are taking control of your perspective, which is the first step to taking control of your destiny. But gratitude alone is not enough. You must also be adaptable. Life will not unfold the way you planned. No morning routine, no matter how sacred, can protect you from the unpredictability of life. The market shifts, the world changes, opportunities collapse, betrayals strike, illness comes. But adaptability is the shield of the resilient. The person who wins the morning is not rigid. They are steady, but they bend when needed. They do not cling to one path. They cling to their purpose and adjust the path as many times as it takes. Thomas Edison knew this. When his laboratory caught fire, when years of work went up in smoke, he did not despair. He called his family, told them to watch, and said, "You will never see anything like this again." Then he began again with new energy, new focus. That is adaptability. That is resilience. To see disaster not as the end, but as the seed of a greater beginning. The morning is your training ground for adaptability. When plans shift, when interruptions come, when circumstances alter, the person who has already anchored themselves in vision and gratitude cannot be shaken. They rise above the unexpected because their spirit is stronger than circumstance. But let us speak of belief, the root of it all. Without belief, gratitude is empty, purpose is fragile, and vision is a fantasy. Belief is the soil in which every seed of success must grow. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Most people conceive great things but fail to believe them. And so they die with dreams buried inside them. Belief is not a wish. Belief is a knowing. It is a conviction so deep that it cannot be stolen by ridicule, by failure, or by time. Andrew Carnegie believed he could build an empire from nothing, and he did. Henry Ford believed he could bring the automobile to every household, and he did. Walt Disney believed in worlds of imagination when no one else saw them, and he did. Belief must be practiced every morning. When you rise, you must feed your mind with words of power, images of success, visions of what can and will be. You must tell yourself, it is possible. I will find a way. I will persist until it becomes reality. This is not delusion, it is creation. Because belief, spoken and acted upon daily, molds the world around you. Most people wake up doubting themselves. They replay failures, they listen to voices of limitation, they look at obstacles and shrink. They ask, what if I fail? But those who win the morning ask, what if I succeed? They feed belief, and belief feeds them back tenfold. The truth is simple. Your morning must be a ritual of belief. Whether you read, pray, meditate, or visualize, you must strengthen the muscle of faith, because the world will test you. It will tell you your dreams are impossible. It will laugh. It will doubt. It will resist. But if you rise every morning and renew your belief, nothing can stop you. So, tomorrow, when your eyes open, let belief be the first voice you hear. Let gratitude be the second. Let discipline be the third. And then rise, not slowly, not lazily, not reluctantly, but with fire. Because every morning you conquer is a rehearsal for greatness, and every morning you waste is a rehearsal for regret. Win the morning, win the day. Win the day, win your life. Momentum is the hidden power most never understand. One action may seem small, one discipline choice may seem insignificant, but repeated, they become unstoppable. The greatest river begins as a trickle. The mightiest fire begins as a spark, and the most extraordinary life begins with one morning, one with intention. Consider the law of compounding. In finance, it is the principle that small investments, consistently nurtured, grow into unimaginable wealth. But this law is not limited to money. It applies to your habits, your mindset, your discipline. Every morning, you rise with focus. Every morning, you invest in growth. Every morning, you sharpen your body, your spirit, your mind. You are compounding greatness. You may not see it today. You may not feel it tomorrow. But years from now, when the world looks at you and calls you an overnight success, you will know the truth. It was the accumulation of mornings. Persistence is the fuel that keeps momentum alive. Edison did not invent the light bulb in a flash of inspiration. It was persistence. Thousands of experiments, thousands of mornings beginning again. Ford did not revolutionize the automobile in one stroke. It was persistence. Trial after trial, rejection after rejection. Persistence is the heartbeat of achievement, and it beats strongest in the morning, because in the morning, your excuses are loudest. I'm too tired. It's too early. It doesn't matter today. These are the whispers of weakness. But when you rise and move anyway, you silence them. You teach your mind that you are stronger than excuses. You train yourself to persist, not just for one day, but for life. Winners understand this. Consistency beats intensity. Anyone can rise with fire for one morning. Anyone can sprint for a week. But greatness belongs to those who can wake day after day, year after year, and persist. To the world, persistence looks boring. To the victor, persistence looks like destiny unfolding. Think of the farmer. He does not plant a seed today and expect a harvest tomorrow. He waters, he waits, he tends the soil, he protects the crop morning after morning, season after season. And then, when the harvest finally comes, it looks like magic. But it was not magic. It was persistence. It was momentum. You must approach your life the same way. Your dreams are seeds. Your mornings are water. Your actions are sunlight. Persistence is patience. And one day, if you do not quit, the harvest will come. But hear this warning: momentum works both ways. Just as good habits compound into greatness, bad habits compound into destruction. Hit snooze one morning and it feels harmless. Skip your routine for a week and it feels excusable. Drift for a year, and you will wake up wondering why your dreams have vanished, why mediocrity has chained you. The slide into weakness is slow, but it is certain, and the only way to stop it is to win the morning. Grind, persistence, consistency, these are not glamorous words. The world celebrates the outcome, but ignores the process. They applaud the success, but forget the mornings that built it. They see the glory, but miss the grind. But you must love the grind. You must embrace the process. Because in the quiet, uncelebrated hours of the morning, you are building the person who can carry the weight of your destiny. Muhammad Ali once said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." His mornings were not filled with applause. They were filled with sweat, pain, sacrifice. But those mornings created the champion the world would later see. The truth is this: comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every morning, you are faced with a choice between comfort and calling. And if you repeatedly choose comfort, your calling will die. But if you repeatedly choose calling, your comfort will eventually grow beyond what you ever imagined.